everyone, welcome back to our channel Future Engineer. In today's session, we are going to learn about the different SQL commands or queries. The basic building blocks of database and interaction we are done in previous lectures, so check out on the description. So SQL stand for a structure query language is done on the previous lecture. What SQL requirements on industry we all are done on in previous lectures. So please check out that lecture. And now, which is the standardized language to communication with the relational database. It allows to develop, create, manage, manipulate, and control the data effectively. So today we are learn to what are SQL commands, and first we learn rule of writing SQL queries. What's rule of writing to SQL queries we are learning in this lecture. So first of all, there are certain rules of SQL queries which are ensure and consistency of functionality of database following this rule. मीन्स SQL ची consistency राहिली पाहिजे आणि SQL मध्ये error avoidance साठी these rules are very beneficial. So first rule of the writing of SQL queries, which one is the end with the semicolon. End with the semicolon, not the colon, end with the semicolon. Every query written after that must end with the semicolon. Each SQL statement ends semicolon to execute properly, and without semicolon SQL queries is not executed. After that, the second rule is the case insensitivity. SQL keywords like, for example, select, insert are not case sensitive. However, tables, columns, name may be case sensitive on the DBMS. So, what is meant by case insensitive means we are not a rule of uppercase and lowercase. In any case, we are written the words or we returns the queries. After that, white spaces allowed. Queries can be span multiple lines, but spaces between the keywords and the name. So after that, white spaces allowed and a reverse word. Reverse words means avoid using SQL keywords in name if you need to wrap quotes and or backticks. ओके सो हे कशासाठी इम्पॉर्टंट असतं जेव्हा आपण स्ट्रिंग मध्ये रिटर्न करतो त्यासाठी इम्पॉर्टंट असतं सो द रूल टू रायटिंग द SQL queries are first rule end with this semicolon is the most important rule for executing properly query with this semicolon. After that, it case insensitive and white spaces allowed and reserved words. Reserved words. After that, the comments. In comments of there are two types of comments in the SQL, single line comment and multi-line comment. In single line comment we are uh, two hyphen, and after that multi-line comment backslash star and star backslash. Okay, so data constraint, and which data constraint use not null, unique, primary key. We are learn in the uh, upcoming lecture, so these are not important, but today we are learn to DDL queries so that it's intro to use not null, then unique primary key. After that, ensure data accuracy. After that, string value enclosed in string in text means आपण स्ट्रिंग कशामध्ये डबल कोट किंवा सिंगल कोट मध्ये काय करतो रिटर्न करतो स्ट्रिंग व्हॅल्यू ओके आफ्टर दॅट नेमिंग रूल in naming rule we start with the letter, we cannot start with the number and underscore. This is the naming rule. After that, what is the main and important topic of today's lecture is the what are the different SQL commands or query. So we are learn to different commands and query in today's lecture. So structure query language is the command of standardized introductions to use by developer to interact with the data to store the relational database. and creation, manipulation, retrieval, and controller databases, which are the SQL commands and categories specify the functionalities. So, this is only for to understanding what are the different SQL queries. In SQL, most importantly, what is meant by SQL? SQL is the structure query language which is useful for store, manage, and retrieve from the database. And SQL is the relational databases. So, all for the SQL definition is the most important. So that the next is topic is the SQL commands and their types. First topic is SQL DDL, which cover in today's lecture. Then first type is the DDL means what? The data definition language. DDL means what? Data definition language. In data definition language, we are done create table, drop table, alter table, and truncate table. Okay. After that, DML queries. In DML queries means data manipulation language. In this query, we are manipulating the queries. For that, inserting operation perform, updating operation perform, deleting operation perform. After that, a TCL, third command or third type is what? The TCL. Okay, so in PCL we commit, then we save the point, and then after rollback. After that DQL. DQL data query language. In DQL, this also done in today's lecture how to select query, and DCL means grant revoke. The most important queries are three queries. First of all, first is the DDL, create, drop, alter, truncate. After that, DML query is very important. Insert, update, delete. And after that, a DDL query is also important for the selecting and run to the table. So, first is the data definition language. In data definition language, in data definition language, what is mean by data definition language? So this command is used to define structured database object. आता in DDL we are learn with four operation create, drops, alter, and truncate. So what is mean by create operation? How to perform the create operation? In create operation, first of all we create the database. After that we create the new table, and this table we view on the tables, and some objects are in databases. So we are done on today's lecture. Create table, alter table, drop table, and truncate table. Then how to these operation perform? These all operation perform, or these all operation done on the MySQL workbench. MySQL workbench is complete installation available on our channel, so check out link. So first operation we perform the creates. In create operation we create the first create we database, and after we creating the table. So and after that alter table, drop table, and truncate and remove all records in the table. So now let's go on the workbench. Now let's talk about how to create database on the MySQL workbench. Simply select on file, click on file. After that, click on new query tab. In new query tab, first we create a database is a simple container that store all the tables, data, and relation. We will name of our data is the Google. For example, create database Google. Okay, and execute the queries. Simply select all queries and simply click on execute the statement under the keyboard cursor. So simply select and create database of Google. Simply आपला database Google काय झालाय तर create झालाय, and this side function is called as the schema. So after that, the Click on execute button. This is all execution button. Okay, and this why this error? Because we are not selecting the queries. We are selecting queries, but we are simply one query साठी आपण हे बटन यूज करतो. ओके, सो एकदा एक्झिक्यूट झाले, डेटाबेस एक्झिट झालाय, सो can't create the database again and again. If not exist, then database is the created. Okay, so after that the message appears on button query. Okay, and first row is the affected. After that, the after creating the database, we must to activate it so that MySQL knows the our database. So आपल्याला Google database use करायचं आहे, so आपण लिहिलं use the Google. Okay, and then simply execute the query. Okay, simply execute the query. So simply select query, use Google, and after that row 0 affected. Now let's create our the first table inside the database to store the some sample data. Some sample data called as the create table employee EMP, and after that table we are simply written employee ID integer primary key. Why use the employee ID primary key? Because employee ID primary key is the unique key, and employee ID shows the employee uniqueness. So we are use the employee ID. After that we are use the employee name. We are written employee name. Okay. In employee name we use the database data type varchar. Okay, varchar and semicolon. So sorry. In semicolon, not in comma. After that, here comma, and after that designation. In employee ID, name, designation, and salary. In designation, we use the designation in varchar data type, and we simply data type must be in capital varchar. We assign the varchar values. After that, salary of employee. Salary in integer, also salary in decimal. Decimal. Okay. And in decimal, so आपण salary integer मध्ये घेऊ. In integer. Okay. And after that, close the bracket and semicolon. Okay. आपण काय केलं क्रिएट टेबल केला एम्प्लॉईचा आयडी घेतलं इंटीजर अँड प्रायमरी की इन प्रायमरी की रिटर्न no problem, not written, no problem. So after that we return the employee name. In employee name also data type is a varchar. In designation of data type is varchar, and salary is integer. So we are execute this query in execute this statement under the cursor. So our database is a simply created. So you are just created the name of employee with the 4 columns, and this schema what define there are created 4 column. First is the employee ID, after that employee name, and after that the designation, and after that the salary. After that we show or check tables. Okay, so simply return the show tables. Okay, and simply query we are. Okay, so table in Google employee. Okay, आणि काय क्रिएट झाला तर एम्प्लॉई टेबल काय झाला क्रिएट झाला. So congratulations, you just created your first database of the table of in workbench. So now Insert and view data is optional of preview in next class, but we are simply execute in this class. We insert the queries. So insert the queries. The show table only shows the which name of table you are created, but we are showing the all the means table content. So we are return the describe EMP. Okay, and we simply select these queries and run once. Okay, so we are show is these are column ID, sorry, employee ID, employee name, designation, and salary. In data types, in employee ID, we are use the integer. So here is the integer. In employee name, we use the varchar. So here is a varchar. So designation, we use the varchar. Here is a varchar. In integer, in salary we use the integer. So here is the integer. So first is his null, primary key, foreign key. These are the constraint. So here is the null section or constraint section. So here is uh, asking employee ID is a null. So employee ID is not null because it's the primary key. Okay, these two columns are for the constraint, which are constraint or not, which are null or not. So primary key is not null. So this is the primary key. So here is employee name, designation, salary is not primary key or anything. So here is a blank column and default all are null. So here in employee ID we are not written anything, so that default is null and extra spaces. So these are the structure of our column. So to make it interesting, you can give the quick example. First we insert into EMP. What insert? So here we use the काय use केले employee ID, EMP ID, EMP name. After that we use the designation. After that designation, and after that we use the salary. So simply close it. After that we returns the values. After that values, we return first employee ID. After that, we return the employee name XYZ. After that, we return the designation, means what this employee done in their work. So I return the data, web development, and after that the salary 20,000 per month. Okay, and after that we finish. In inserting, in creating table, we are using column employee ID, employee name, designation, and salary. Simply insert into employee table their constraint, and after that passing the values. So here written in the values, which values employee ID by 1. So it is the primary key, and we are not again and again use the 1. Okay, after that the employee name. My employee name is the XYZ. After that, the designation, my employee work done on the web development. And after that, the what salary. So my employee salary is the 20,000. Okay, 20,000. And so I will select this query and simply run. Okay, so this query is run. After that, I will this schema inserting on my table. So I will simply return the select star from EMP. And after that, I will select this query and simply run on this. So here in my table, employee ID, employee name, designation and salary here written. After that, we are inserting many queries to PQY. After that, here written data analyst. After that, here written 15,000. And after that, we simply end with the semicolon. And after that, we are again select star. So, no. First, we are inserting queries. We will also execute again. And after that, we selecting star from EMP. Okay, wait for a minute. Only execute this line and after that we are clicking this and so okay, something problematic. So now neglected after that. So today's session we are learn how to open MySQL Workbench, how to create new database in name of Google. After that, how to use a database, how to create the table, how to create the show table and describe employee and insert into the queries and how to check inserting queries run properly on employee or not. After that, so I will just insert after executing this query to PQY data analyst. This query is not executed. So in DDL we are learn for the alter table also. In alter command we are use a simply the अल्टर टेबल एम्प्लॉई फक्त इन अल्टर टेबल मध्ये आपण टेबल मध्ये कन्स्ट्रेंट यूज करू शकतो बट आपल्याला जर इन्सर्ट करायचं असेल अगेन सो वी आर simply click on this and after the selecting employee values we are simply written here and after that we are written to PYQ. After that we simply written data analyst. After that, we simply 10,000 salary and end with the semicolon. Okay. So 1 second. Here is comma. So now first we create the database Google. So simply we execute the Google. After that we use the Google. So simply click on Google and use the Google. After that simply run on, then create table employee, simply run on table. After that, we inserting the employee table, simply click on. After that, we are inserting into the second employee ID. So simply run on, and after that, this selecting the queries so here the 2PYQ data analyst and 1000 is the successfully the added. So that's it's for our today's lecture in alter command in SQL. The next session we are explore to drop and truncate commands and understand the difference between the deleting data and deleting entries in table structure. So, thank you and keep practicing in SQL commands to really. And so, today's activity learn us how to schema define in employee So now the main structure of employee. How to schema define in workbench. Here we create the employee table. Okay. In employee, in tables, okay, tables, views, store and procedure and function. So here we are added one by one. Here is a show in employee. Okay. So thanks for today's lecture. Subscribe our channel, like, share and subscribe to forwarded your lecture in your friend circle. Thank you.